Is DeMeco Ryans too jacked to be a head coach?
DeMeco Ryans, you're too jacked to be a head coach.
Apparently so. Welcome to the only honest NFL power ranking show on the internet. I'm your host of this football vomitorium, Brandon Perna, and today we will rank the final 4 teams remaining in the NFL. Let's be honest, all of these teams are good. Not one is truly that much better than the other, but the fact that you're willing to waste the next 15, 16 minutes of your life here with me means a lot. So much so that I won't even spin the curse wheel this week and curse your team. Psych. One of you motherfuckers is going down, and I hope it's not the Lions. In addition to the ranks of power, I'm going to give away a bold and way too specific prediction for each team, starting at number 4, the 49ers? Yeah, screw it, why not? My one way too bold and specific prediction for the Niners is this. Kyle Shanahan has become convinced that in big games, his team is better off coming from behind than holding on to a lead. Because of this new revelation, he will no longer script the first 15 plays of the game. Instead, he will script the last 15 plays of the game, and that script ends with the 49ers driving down the field and attempting a field goal to tie the game and send it into overtime. However, rookie kicker Jake Moody will miss the kick wide right, a crushing blow for the 49ers, and yet another searing jab at Bills fans who are just trying to enjoy their fucking weekend. One thing we need to see from the 49ers, if they do want to beat Goff besides this, is sacks. Green Bay actually generated more pressures than the Niners in the last game. They, along with the Bills, Chiefs, and Ravens, recorded 0 sacks. Nick Bosa needs to actually get to Goff this week. For someone who drove down the field and won the game in the final minutes, Brock Purdy has been treated by the national media like he lost the game.
Purdy's a little too close to turdy.
For a guy that's won 20 of the 24 games he started and finished and averaged an insane 9.2 yards per pass in his young career, I don't think we've seen a quarterback this unfairly shit on. Sorry, I said that wrong. I don't think we've seen a white quarterback this unfairly shit on. I know he struggled at points against the Packers, and it wasn't his best game, but we used to value guys that just found a way to win.
We want to pin the losses on Josh Allen, but we don't want to give the wins to Purdy. It just becomes a very slippery slope.
Now, Shannon Sharp made a great point.
In the catch game, Joe Montana had thrown 3 picks and he had a lost fumble before he threw that ball to Dwight Clark.
I didn't know that.
I knew Brock Purdy showed me something with that performance on the final drive.
The playoffs are not about perfection. It's about getting it done in spite of everything that's gone wrong. We used to root for the underdog too, and we also appreciated greatness. We do none of that shit now. The underdog window gets slammed shut so fast. Guys go from unknown to our heroes to fucking assholes who can't throw a wet ball and should be sent to San Quentin like that. Number 3, the Chiefs. The Chiefs smartly made Kadarius Toney inactive for the Bills game. Unsmartly, or ultra dumbly, they gave the ball to Mecole Hardman exactly 2 times, and both times he lost the ball. Hardman, by the way, now has 3 fumbles and 0 TDs since the Chiefs brought him back from New York. Either they're just trying to win the Super Bowl on a more difficult setting, or he has blackmail on Andy Reid. And by blackmail, I mean photos, possibly video of Andy Reid eating a salad. I'm a burger guy! Get that shit out of my office, Mecole, and yes, you could have a couple touches next week. Don't let anybody see this! I think the Chiefs might be the first team who got lucky that one of their starters was injured, because Kadarius Toney and fumbling fingers Mecole Hardman on the same field would have been too much to overcome. In a way, Toney really channeled Hardman as a vessel for his spirit in that game, which would make the Native Americans this Chiefs team honors every week very proud. Here's what's scary about Kansas City. They didn't get any of the breaks against the Bills, and they still won. They might be the only team who doesn't need luck to win the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes is the first player since the merger to not throw a pick or take a sack in 3 straight playoff games. Gross. Travis Kelce is 7 receptions away from breaking Jerry Rice's record for most all-time playoff receptions. Disgusting. Mahomes and Kelce together broke Brady and Gronk's record for most playoff touchdowns by a QB receiver duo with 16. Fucking unforgivable. This team is inevitable. They had their worst season of the Mahomes era, and by the grace of Satan himself, they're back in the AFC Championship game. They really are the Neo-Patriots. And you could replace the word Patriots with another one to truly illustrate how I feel about this team. But I won't do that because I have too much class. I do have to give Mahomes and the Chiefs credit for winning a road playoff game in a hostile environment. If they can pull off a second straight win in Baltimore against a team that's been systematically annihilating every good team on their schedule this year, one of the only teams with an all-pro quarterback and the top scoring defense in the same season, it'll be hard to deny their greatness. It'll be hard, yes, but I'll find a way to do it. If something's going to be a problem for the Chiefs, it's their run defense, maybe, which was fine all season. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's like some glaring hole in their armor, but the Bills put up 182 rushing yards on them, and KC was lucky that Buffalo didn't realize Ty Johnson had the hot hand and just kept feeding the ball to James Cook. Buffalo is just learning to run the ball. The Ravens are the best rushing team in the NFL, and they've been top 3 over the last 3 seasons, and their defense is better and healthier. My one way too bold and specific prediction for this game, the Chiefs will once again have a chance to put the game away, but get too cute. They do their ring around the rosy play at the goal line, but Travis Kelce gets too dizzy, partially because he's secondhand drunk off his brother Jason and doesn't notice that he's lined up a full yard in front of the line of scrimmage, negating a Blake Bell triple reverse fumble-rooski touchdown.
It's a real picture. I am in love with Andy Reid. It's a real picture. I am in love with Andy Reid. It's a real picture. I am in love with Andy Reid.
Number 2, I got the Lions.
I wanted this job bad because I felt like I knew this community. I played here.
My one way too bold prediction, Zach Ertz, who just signed with the Lions this week and is expected to be elevated this week, will score a touchdown off a ball that is picked off and subsequently fumbled by Dre Greenlaw. Yes, I believe Greenlaw now has some strange, malicious, karmic energy working against him after trying to run back that pick at the end of the Packers game, and the newest Lion will prove his worth by being in the right place at the right time. Now, the reason Detroit signed Zach Ertz is because they lost Brock Wright to injury. Ertz can make a difference for the Lions and should acclimate quickly as he worked with Lions tight ends coach Steve Hayden back in Arizona. The Lions dodged a bullet with Frank Ragnow and his injury. Their all-pro center suffered a knee sprain and an ankle sprain and is expected to play against San Francisco. That's significant as guard Jonah Jackson is most likely out of this game. The only way their luck can get better, though, is if they also dodge Deebo Samuel, because their ability to mitigate number 1 receivers has been non-existent. Going back into the last few weeks of the regular season and carrying into the postseason with Puka Nacua and Mike Evans. Nacua had 181 yards and a TD in the wildcard game, and Evans had 147 and a TD in the divisional. Now, Deebo's status is up in the air, and we all saw last week that his absence slowed down the 49ers offense. I don't know if the Lions will win, but I think pretty much everyone on earth who is not a 49ers fan wants them to win. So let's just hype them up real quick, okay? The most loyal fan base in the NFL deserves this shit. I gotta shout out the most loyal fan of the most loyal fan base and Lions fan, Benjamin Cap, who capped off his 66th year as a Lions season ticket holder by watching his team win back-to-back playoff games at home and advance to their NFC Championship game for the first time since the '91 season. This is not just for Cap. It's for all Lions fans who suffered through decades of not just incompetence, but pure embarrassment. For everyone who watched Home Improvement and got excited every time Tim Allen was rocking a Lions shirt. For all of them who supported the team while they botched high draft picks, went 0-16, were led by Pencil Dick, and wasted the Hall of Fame careers of Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson, and Matthew Stafford, and then supported Stafford after he divorced them.
You've had enough of that shit, so excuse my language.
Things are different. Finally, they're not just good, they're fun. And these diaper-wearing kings have a chance to go on the road and advance to the Super Bowl for the first time in team history. Detroit is a touchdown underdog against the 49ers.
Wear a diaper.
Guess what? Who gives a fuck? Certainly not Dan Campbell's boys. The 49ers didn't look like the well-oiled machine that they had been all season when they beat the Packers. And if they did, Dan Campbell would just waterboard them with oil until they fucking exploded. The Lions have been ramping up in the playoffs, and this is their moment. I'm trying to be as impartial as I can, but god damn it, I want to see the Lions go to the Super Bowl. For these dedicated fans, for a cast-off like Jared Goff, for Dan Campbell, who was laughed at in his introductory press conference.
And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right? And we're going to stand up, and then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down, all right? And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap, and we're going to get up, and then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you.
They're 1 game away, so go bite some fucking kneecaps and don't let go. Number 1, the Ravens. If the Ravens do advance to the Super Bowl, they have a pretty crazy mental edge on both of the teams in the NFC Championship game. They beat the Lions 38-6, and they beat the 49ers 33-19. The problem, however, is not the Lions or the 49ers, it's the Chiefs, who have beaten them 3 of the last 4 times they met. Mahomes threw 13 touchdowns in those 4 contests. I think it could be very different this time because Mahomes typically torches teams who send extra rushers, but the Ravens don't blitz like they used to. They got rid of Wink Martindale, and their offense is different with Todd Monken. The Ravens are the only team I watched where I was thoroughly impressed by their defense divisional weekend. They did that without Marlon Humphrey at corner, and as long as they can tackle Isaiah Pacheco at the point of contact, I like their chances. People fucking laughed at me when I said the Broncos should have signed Kyle Van Noy instead of Frank Clark. They laughed. Everyone said I was dumb. They called me a button-dicked shit stain who should burn in hell, which seemed harsh. Well, Van Noy, just like he did last year, has 3 sacks and a forced fumble in his last 4 games. Oddly, we spent several years talking about Jadeveon Clowney when he was playing average football. And now that he's playing well above average football, nobody seems to care. Plus, the Ravens could get a huge boost if tight end Mark Andrews comes back. The Ravens beat Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Again, they handled the Niners, and they owned the Dolphins like they ran SeaWorld. The Chiefs haven't played a team with the defense or as well balanced as the Ravens since, I don't know, they lost to the Broncos during their surge, or when they beat the Jets on October 1st by just 3 points. Baltimore, you are this country's best and last line of defense to prevent another Chiefs Super Bowl. If you fail, I hope you are all arrested for treason. That's how important this one is. Enough with the actual football talk, though, because we're looking at the greatest matchup of super fans we've ever had. On one hand, we have someone who connects with people on a visceral level, using their words, someone who's been the voice of a generation, an incredible on-stage performer. And the other one is Taylor Swift. All hail Stavvy. It's actually pretty inspirational as a guy who's made dick jokes on YouTube for the last decade. Okay, this is inspirational, but it's also kind of mind-blowing that a guy who for many years hosted a podcast called Cumtown is now the celebrity face of an NFL franchise. Back in Super Bowl 23, when the 49ers were embarking on their eventual game-winning drive against the Bengals, Joe Montana eased the nerves of his offense by pointing out a large comedian in the stands. That man was John Candy. 35 years later, if Lamar Jackson is in that situation, he would be wise to get in the huddle, point to the crowd, and say, "Holy shit, that's Stav." This is the battle of two poets, really. Taylor Swift's best line versus Stav's best. Taylor, of course, being, "They told me all of my cages were mental, so I got wasted like all of my potential." Hard to top, but there's no doubt in my mind that after Lamar Jackson drives down the field and wins the game, Andy Reid will be left with that Thousand Island stare.
One kid had a fucking 1,000 mile. What is it? 100 miles.
1,000 miles. Did you just say Thousand Island stare? You fat fuck.
1,000 mile. You beat
you
shit.
fucking.
I don't fucking.
All right, let's spin. Let's spin. Who's getting cursed this week? Which way does it go? That may have been backwards. I don't even know anymore. Oh, we got to spin again. Lame. Also, I put myself on here. So that's how you know. I'm willing to risk my own life to make sure the Lions don't get cursed. Or the Ravens. 3. It's the Chiefs! It's the Chiefs! Oh, please, all hail wheel, do your dirtiest work. Let your final act be the most vengeful. Yes. Yeah. Thanks for watching Power Rankings. May this be the best conclusion of Power Rankings to the season ever. Also, it'd be pretty cool if Stavvy commented on this video. Can we get his attention over here? I don't know.